the others who may not be. So we really want to understand what are the outcomes, right? So with this, we want to make sure that we are really being inclusive in this space and facilitating the space to have conversations about issues that are centered around our policy and advocacy efforts, right? Next, we want to make sure that we have a clear understanding of the issues and current stance on the issues and strategy for advocacy victories. So we want to hear what you all think. We want to hear from you all of what things that we should change. How can we do better? What are some things that you have done? Sharing best practices and understanding how can we share different tactics and different perspectives to maybe merge something or create a program or maybe create an actual tactic that the national office can adapt and that we all can adapt across our units locally to be effective in that issue priority area. The next thing that we want to do is make sure that our young organizers, everybody that's here, our organizers, our leaders, our advisors, everybody here will have a shared thought and ideas of how they can navigate through this agenda that we're going to create. I got you.
You come here and look at this.
So we got some people that's in the waiting room and let them in as well. Appreciate you. So making sure that we can all navigate through this agenda with a collective. So we're going to come together at the end of this and have a collective demand and expectations from elected leaders to understand how do we show
to type in the chat.
I don't need you to type in the chat no more. It's fine. It's perfectly fine. But with that, right, what we want you all to understand is that from this, we need to leave here as on a collective front and a collective understanding of how we're going to show up to this movement, right? It doesn't make sense for us to be this grand organization and we have gaps. I'm going to put you on mute and ask you, you're fine. We don't need you to, you're fine. But how do we show up in this movement in a way that we're showing up collective, as a collective front? It doesn't make sense for us to be within the state, right, within a certain jurisdiction, and we may be county areas. If I can have support on making sure that members aren't able to unmute themselves for the moment, we'll unmute them when it's time.
The host
alternate in A.
Please try again later. Goodbye.
Cool. All right. So I think we're good. I'm going to double check our settings real quick just to make sure that we're fine on that. Perfect. So we're good. So with that, again, we want to make sure that everybody can come as a collective front and understand that there is unity and there is power when we all come together. We have to understand and get to a point that as the organization as large as the NAACP, that we can show up as a collective front, that we can do this locally, show up as a collective front locally to advocate for our issues so that we can get the victories that we want locally. And I'm emphasizing locally because that's where you all stay at. That's where you all live at. That's where the policy is affecting you directly. So what I'm going to do next is kick it to our National Director, Mr. Wisdom Cole, and allow him to speak on our next part of the agenda.
Thank you so much, Derek. I appreciate that introduction and making sure we are getting started for this debrief / celebration of all the amazing work that we're doing. I'm super happy to see everybody from across the country, everybody from Roanoke, Virginia, from New Jersey, Tucson, Arizona. I know we have some folks from Anchorage, Alaska. We have Jackson State in the house. Who else we got here? Looking through the chat. People celebrating all these victories all across the country. And really the point of tonight, you know, as we've done this every year, is really to set the agenda for what we're going to be doing for next year. But before doing that, we got to celebrate our victories. We got to make sure that we know what we've done this year. All across the country, young people have been organizing every single day. You know, I know we've been in a global pandemic for over a year. We're getting on 2 years now, and we've had to make many adjustments, right? Even being on Zoom, making sure that we have this connection, making sure that we are engaging in different ways, making sure our social media presence is engaging as much as possible, but recognizing that the work doesn't stop and that we're not going to stop. You know, you see here in this slide, everything from working on getting folks vaccinated around COVID-19 to fighting for voting rights, to standing up, to making sure that student debt is canceled, to making sure that our HBCUs and our universities are accountable to the students. Again, making sure that these HBCUs and universities are accountable to the students. And as folks said before, you know, chartering and reactivating new units, all those are important victories that must be celebrated. So we want to make sure we shout out you, the members, the advisors. Like Derek said, this is an intergenerational call. And so we wanted to make sure that everybody was here today to discuss the things that they have won this year, but also to help set the agenda for the upcoming year. As you know, the NAACP has gone through multiple changes, and we want to make sure that you're up to date on the way the organization is running, what are our priority campaigns, what are our centers of innovation, and what the future of the NAACP looks like. And so this webinar tonight will kind of cover some of those things, but also give you the opportunity for us to hear feedback from you and how we can serve the membership of the NAACP Youth and College Division. Next slide. So when we're thinking about the work that we're doing within the Youth and College Division, we're thinking about the national problems that we're addressing, everything from mental health to youth voting rights, to police accountability and transparency, to student debt, to COVID-19. You know, all these are issues that deeply impact our community, and recognizing as young people, we do not live single issue lives. It's absolutely important for us to recognize that these issues intersect in various ways. And so even though you might be working on one issue, recognizing that it's important for us to engage this from a holistic approach and thinking about how our work, how our word, how the things that we do, particularly when it comes to the election, all connects to the issues that affect us every single day. Next slide. So something you may have heard with the NAACP is that we have started these brand new areas of innovation. These areas of innovation, or centers of innovation, or C-HOPE as it may be described, are these areas that we want to make sure that we are targeting within the Black community to ensure that we are thinking about strategic options for liberation, for campaign work, and thinking about how all of it is ingrained in our DNA. Everything from environmental climate justice, to education innovation, to economic inclusivity, to health and well-being, and to race and justice, which we call criminal justice. These are all issues that affect the Black community, similar to the Game Changers, but a little bit different. We're thinking about a strategic approach on how we can address all these issues. And the way that we do this is through the campaign work that we do on the ground with our members across the country. I think we're jumping slides. I think one more back. So, like I said before, these campaigns are absolutely essential and necessary for the work that we're doing. And so I know some of you have already been a part of these campaigns that we are doing across the nation. You know, put a 1 in the chat for me if you have student debt or you know somebody who has student debt. That is one of our major issues at the association, because we are running our 50K and beyond campaign, recognizing that we need to push for the cancellation of $50,000 of student debt for all qualifying borrowers, right? The thing about student debt is that student debt is a crisis, and it has a beginning and it must have an ending. And so at this point in time, we are advocating for the end to student debt cancellation, making sure that that happens in this lifetime, not the next, and recognizing that we have so many member leaders here tonight. We have over 100 folks who are here in this call. All of you have a story. All of you know people. I'm seeing that people are showing that they know folks who have student debt, who are going through the student debt crisis. And so all of you are able to make sure you are sharing your story in our campaign. In addition to that, we're thinking about corporate accountability. Democracy, democracy, democracy. Voting rights is the talk of the town here in DC. And we are so close to really passing some voting rights legislation, because we've been giving scorecards out to all of our elected officials, grading how they're doing on voting rights. And so we are pushing them to actually make big policy changes to ensure big turnout. And so we are working to make sure we're keeping people accountable through that campaign. Some of you have been a part of our COVID No More, recognizing that this year we have been able to share lift codes for people to get rides, to get vaccinated, making sure that we are sending out SMS messages, giving phone calls, and giving resources to the communities that need it to make sure they have access. Moving forward, we want to make sure that we are getting engaged in campaigns such as corporate accountability, where, as you know, throughout 2020, we saw a lot of corporate donors come to the NAACP, come to other organizations and donate a lot of money. And so regardless of their donations, we want to make sure that they're still being accountable to Black people and making sure that we are holding them accountable, because we are the NAACP. Making sure that we're engaging in racial equity, thinking about this even from an education lens through education innovation. How are we addressing those issues? We also are making sure we're continuing to do police accountability and transparency work, and recognizing that we can't have any of this if we don't have a planet to advocate for. And so making sure that this is incorporated into our environmental climate justice work. And so all of these are campaigns that are currently running at the NAACP. They have either launched or beginning to launch in the upcoming year. And we want to make sure that you are plugged in, right? The vision that we have and the vision that the organization has is making sure that young people are continuing to be the mobilizing body of the NAACP. And because we do that work, because we are in the streets, because we are fighting against violence, it's absolutely necessary that our young people are not just added at the end, but incorporated into every single campaign. But we can only do that by knowing what problems are most important to you. What is happening in your community? As Derek said, we talk about this phrase, local victories inform national narratives. Because of the work that our members do on the ground, we were able to uplift this through national narratives, through national guidelines, and making sure that these things are actually being addressed at the federal level. But we got to remember that this starts locally, it starts statewide, it starts with the power of our young people and making sure that we are engaged in every single part. And so I'm super excited to pass over this next section back to Derek, because we're going to be talking about these issues through a really amazing poll that was designed. And so I'm excited to get into this activity for this evening.
Hey, I'm back, everyone. So what we're going to do is really dive into this part of the presentation or roundtable where you all will kind of like take the wheel. And this is kind of like where we're actually getting to understand what are the problems. We're going to ask you a series of questions that's going to be done a number of different ways. The first way is going to be done through a tool, which I'm actually going to share on my screen right now. In one moment. All right. So if you have a device, let me make sure everybody's able to see my screen. Can I get a thumbs up? I think so. Cool. So you what we're gonna do is that first we ask this a question right here that is on the screen. What are the biggest problems that Black people care about in your community? What do Black people care about, essentially? What is that? What is that right now? What is it that Black people care about in your community? And what we want you to do is, we want you to do this through a link that's going to be shared with you in the chat. We can drop that link in the chat, or at the top of it, you can go to www.minty.com. And you're going to use the code 16303514. So you can click the link that's in the chat, and we're going to see it come up right here as you see that. So somebody did as well, and you can submit as many as possible. So we see education, access, and safety. I have gun violence. I see education, good paying jobs. We do see, so that's good. Good paying jobs, that's good, okay? That's good. Affordable housing, voting rights, access to food and housing regulations on campus, safety, mental health. Mental health, I'm loving it. Gentrification as that relates to housing. Education, equitable education, jobs, homelessness. We relate homelessness to homes, higher minimum wages, yes. Actually, I want to talk about that because I've seen a few articles about that. All right, we're gonna keep on going. Y'all coming in, keep them going, keep them going. We want to make sure that we get all of this. What are the problems that Black people care about in your community? And then I'm gonna ask if one person can actually talk about this problem. Well, no, we'll wait on it. Okay, I appreciate this. Keep them going. What are the problems? What are the problems that that people care about? That Black people care about? We see gun violence. Gun violence is continuing going. Food deserts. COVID-19. Voting rights. Resources. Healthcare. Incarceration. Resources for HBCUs, HBCU funding. Appreciate this. Clean water, police brutality, voting rights, healthcare, financial literacy, good paying jobs, affordable healthcare. This is good. keep this going. I want to actually keep this going a little bit longer. So I said you all are still coming. We have 91 submissions and we have 125 people. So I'm not gonna stop till we get to 125. Remember how we define problems.
Derek, I'm just gonna read out some of them that are in the chat. I'm seeing gun violence, homelessness. I'm seeing student loan debt, violence, voting rights, predatory loans, affordable health care, access to bank loans to start businesses, climate change, environmental issues, condemning housing, driving, walking, and living while Black. That is so true. Inability to leave, generational wealth, youth programs, all very relevant problems in our community.
It is. And all of it relates to the exploitation of people. That is it. So this is dope. This is dope. And this is great because this is going to really take you into our next piece. So what we just did, that we just identified and kind of like defined what are the biggest problems that Black people care about in our community. Basically what you all just said is that if something was to be delivered as relates to housing, if something is to be delivered as relates to HBCU funding, if something is to be delivered as relates to police brutality, right? Where we're talking about real material condition changes, right? The Black community will be in a better shape. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to kick it to Dominique, who's going to take you through our next piece of our exercise for our breakout.
Thank you, Derek. Hello, everyone. It's so nice to see you all. It's the end of the year, and I'm just so happy to be with y'all. So we are going to get into our breakout sessions, okay? So we have 2 breakout sessions, and then we're going to have a report out. So we're going to break out into 4 or 5 people per group, and we're going to answer, like I said, our 2 questions, and then we'll come back and we'll answer 1 more question, and we'll report out on that question. So our first question is, what are our demands from elected officials in the 2020 midterm election and the following buckets of innovation? So this first question will be answered through a jot form. It's important that you make sure you keep your jot form open because you'll be answering 2 questions, but in between those questions, you will come back as a whole outside of your group, and we'll share as a whole. So on this first part, you just want to answer that question on the jot form and then make sure you keep it open, don't close it, and then you'll come back and you'll share. So the question again is, what are our demands from our elected officials in the 2022 midterm election and the following buckets of innovation? They should be dropping the link now, and I believe we'll be going into, are you going to drop the link first or drop it when they get in the breakout rooms?
Let's drop it right now so I can have access now. So let's drop that link now. The rooms are ready, but I'll make sure everybody has that link.
And just I'm sorry to speak over you, Derek, but just make sure that you are engaging in conversation about this. This should be a conversation, not just like you filling out the form, but make sure you input the information so that we hear your unique opinion, but we want to make sure that you guys are having a conversation about it as well.
All right, has that link been dropped yet? No. Has it been dropped yet? No. Okay.
Okay, hold on 1 second.
Everybody should have it now.
You got it?
If you got that link, if you can give me a thumbs up, I can see you all for the most part. Give me a thumbs up. Okay, I'm going to open up your breakout rooms. You all should now have access to your breakout rooms. You can check, I think it's join. I believe it's join. All right. Everybody should be able to join a room. Everybody should be able to join a room. All right, you should be able to join the room. If you're not, let me see. Everybody's assigned to a room, so you should be joining a room. We'll be in there for 15 minutes. All right, Sherman doesn't have the link. Boom. All right, we're good now. Perfect. Perfect. All right. Everybody here should have been assigned to a room. If you're not, I'm going to assign you to one. What we're doing right now, so we're going into breakout rooms. Breakout rooms discussing the prompted question. If we can drop that in the chat again. In these breakout rooms, we're answering the first question only, and then we'll come back and we'll discuss the rest in here.
Say hi to me.
I'm so sorry. I didn't mean it. I didn't mean it.
We're back. We're back. Welcome back to the show. Y'all seen how the recording started going? Like, welcome back. Give me applause, 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 everybody. That's what they do on the TV show. Applause. There we go. Welcome back. Welcome back.
Thank you, everyone. So how did that feel? I would love to hear some of people's
That
ideas.
before, but it doesn't put me in. Hello.
It wasn't long enough.
Okay, well, I would love to hear some people's ideas on what they think that elected officials should address in whichever area of innovation they choose.
Voting rights, definitely, and passing the John Lewis Act. It's a big one.
Thank you, Ms. Claudia. Would someone else like to share? I'm looking for 4 more volunteers.
Bridging the wealth gap.
Thank you, whoever shared that.
Ashley from Alaska.
Clayton from Cape May, New Jersey. I think the dealing with the law enforcement, and I think that the elected officials need to be more aware. And if they are not aware, we need to make them aware by going to their meetings instead of just waiting for something to happen.
Thank you for sharing, Clayton. Can I have, well, Devin actually raised his hand. So thank you, Devin, for raising your hand. Would you like to share?
Sure. Greetings, everyone. My name is Devin Freeman. I serve as the state president, state youth college president, I should say, for the state conference youth college division, as well as family youth chapter.
I can't get in there.
What we discussed many different topics, but I can definitely say that
She couldn't get in before.
holding our public officials accountable in the sense of them promising the Black community certain things, but not really holding up to it. They give us, or even they give other communities, support and maybe some legislation or funding, which they do deserve. But when it comes to Black community, oftentimes, unfortunately, we're expected to either hold our tongue or just be satisfied with what we're given. And we're looked at as, just maybe a touchy subject rather than, a community or a group that, is able to get the full support of the government, whether it be at a public level or federal level. So it's just been very difficult to get that support and, staunch action from our government officials at all levels, honestly.
Yes, thank you so much for sharing that, Devin. We appreciate that, actually relating it back to your local level, like what is actually going on in your community. So you shared what you would like to see, but you shared how it relates to your local community. So thank you for sharing that. Okay, so I see we have some more raised hands. And also, if you are not speaking, could we please make sure we mute ourselves? It's important that we be able to hear everyone and give everyone their time and space to speak. Okay, for some reason. Okay, Tiana, you want to go?
Yes, so I think another one would be education, mainly for kids, and making sure that they are learning about things that are going on in the world today, mostly around racial injustice. things like the Black Lives Matter movement, maybe not so much police brutality, because it could be sensitive in a sense to some kids. But just really making sure that we're learning about our community and realizing that our communities aren't necessarily perfect and that there are things that they should be aware of growing up.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing that, Tiana. Okay, and I will just take one more person. What about Natasha? Natasha Harris?
Hi, my name is Natasha Harris. I'm from the Miami-Dade County NAACP Youth Council. And something that I think is definitely important is demilitarization of police, which I think kind of contributes to police brutality. And also something that affects my generation a lot would be climate change. So definitely infrastructure shifting more towards being based on clean energy.
Yes, I love that. Thank you so much for sharing that, Natasha. I appreciate your sentiments. Okay, so thank you everyone for sharing. I hope that exercise felt good. I hope that you were able to talk in your groups, even though everyone did not get to share out. But we will be going into question number 2. So question number 2 is, what local action would you like to see take place to address these problems? What action do you want to be a part of, right? So think about your role as it relates to this problem. What action did you want to take, and what action do you want to take? What action would you like to be a part of? So as we go back to our breakout rooms, you will go to the second part of the job form, and you will answer those questions. It's kind of a 2-part question, so you'll answer that. Make sure that, I know in some of our rooms we were engaged, some of our rooms we weren't engaged. We do have little birdies. We do know what's going on in the rooms. So please make sure you take advantage of this time and really talk it out as you are inputting this information, because you might come to find that a lot of us have the same issues or the same problems in our communities. So you will have 15 minutes again for this breakout session, and we'll start to go into our breakout sessions now. Everyone should be assigned a breakout room, so you can join your breakout from here.
And also the push for the release of Julius Jones. That case was very big here in the state of Oklahoma, and if we are going to grant him clemency, which our governor did, there was something more morally in his soul telling him that he was innocent. So why do we keep an innocent man in jail for a crime that he did not commit? So that's something that I believe we should advocate for. I'm having my way.
Mr. Lewis.
Yes.
I sent you an email. Did you get it from me? From the Naacp branch 2815-B?
Yes, Ms. Blackwell, I have you on my list. Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, sweetie. I guess I hear from you tomorrow.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, baby.
So thank you all for taking the time to work through that exercise about what you would like to address and what you want to be a part of as it relates to taking action. So we will have a couple people share out. I already see 2 people have raised their hand. If I could get another person to raise their hand, that would be great. And I will let Ms. Raina go first.
Hi, everyone. We're yielding Miss Fair now to Beyonce. She's the young person on our team, so we're going to yield to the youth and college leader.
Thank you.
Hello, everyone. Within the local action that we want to enforce is a town hall meeting. Within the town hall meeting, we would like to discuss public safety and environmental issues. Within the NAACP youth, we feel like the youth isn't involved in public safety and environmental issues as much as we should be. Public safety is not just police officers, it's all first responders, firefighters, EMT. So within the community, we will talk about how everyone can be involved in it. And even if you don't live in the community, you might know somebody that's next to the community, and they can enforce and help within it. That's it.
Thank
Great
you.
job.
Yes, that is a great idea. I'm sure multiple people have experienced that issue or their problem. So everyone listen up. If you have that problem or that issue, she just shared a way how you can take action. That's why we're here sharing with each other so that we can bounce ideas off of each other. I would love for, I can't see. That's why I was saying I can't see. Okay, I would love for Manette Reed to share.
Hi there. So I am coming in from Stafford, Virginia, and an issue that is a big problem right now, education as far as what's being taught in the schools. My daughter is in a AP US history class, and the curriculum, for instance, says one thing. The teacher who supplies the coursework changes it to a more sympathetic view of the Civil War or of Reconstruction, or for instance, as I said, they were covering the Civil War recently, and he decided to have the class debate whether or not the Civil War, the cause of the Civil War, was about slavery or states' rights. Which obviously, you know, it was not about states' rights. That was a more sympathetic way to. That's a way to. My daughter, actually, who is the president of the youth council, she would actually be in the meeting tonight, but she had another commitment that she wasn't able to get away from. But she actually wrote a very, very good email to the teacher addressing it. So actions that we're taking, that was the first incident that we had with him. And then he decided to have the class go to, anyone knows what Prager University is? It's basically a conservative group that got together and decided to make videos that are more, they tell a different version of history. But anyway, so that was the source that he decided to use. Then he decided to have them. So to make a long story short, I won't keep you guys long. To make a long story short, what we're trying to do is to have, yes, Prager University, yes. So what we're trying to do is to have him basically monitored, and to have the entire history curriculum. Well, I think the curriculum is okay for the most part. It's the room that the teachers are given as far as to do the coursework, because as I said, the curriculum specifically says that the Civil War was about slavery. He decided to change it to try to guide the kids into thinking, and he said he wanted them to think about things. But you know, for instance, one of the questions that was an issue recently, he said the Emancipation Proclamation said that, basically told the Southerners that they had to, oh yes you did, oh yes you did. So he said the Emancipation Proclamation basically told the Southerners that they had to return to the Union, and he gave a specific time, right? Yes, we're planning on doing that. And he said that what he asked them to yes, did you?
Yeah, I'm sorry. I just want to give, we are limited on time. I just want to give other young
Sorry
people.
about that. Yes.
I want to get some other
So
young
what
people.
we're doing, yes. So what we're doing is we are planning on going to speak at the school board meetings. We are, yes, we are keeping the pressure on. We have contacted the administration, and so we're keeping the pressure on in that way.
Thank you. Thank you so much for sharing.
You're welcome.
Devin, did you want to share?
Yes. Hey, everyone.
Thank
My
you.
name is Devin Freeman. I attend the illustrious North Carolina State University in North Carolina, and I'm also the vice president for our NAACP chapter. And tonight, I just want to talk about what we'll be doing and just the local action that we're taking. So we did basically a gun violence campaign. So what we're focusing on is like three things, so three facets. So one, we have to work with the city, so working with the mayor and working with her team on how to deter these things, as well as the funding. So the funding and where it'll be allocated to combat this. The second is education. So educating the youth, so going out to different middle schools as well and talking about gun violence, and then starting NAACP chapters for the youth council, and then also educating our own university, because even our own students that attend Central don't understand like what the climate is going on within Durham, with outside the campus, because a lot of our students aren't so like socially inclined, so socially aware and socially engaged, and that's a problem. So educating the community at large. And then the third issue is actually going out and actually talking to the gangs. So there's actually organizations that I didn't realize till recently that actually go and talk to gangs with, and that's the issue that's going on right now, because we're having a gang war going on right now in Durham. And when you look at it, you look at statistics. So you look at how, So you look at January 1st, there has been like 250 shooting incidents in Durham. And then you had to look at that back in 2020, there had been 270 shootings in that incidents. Though if you look at the homicides have doubled since last year. So we're looking at 38 homicides this year. So now we're trying to, that's right. And that's the issue. So that's what we're trying to do. Try to like, not only have intervention, but have prevention. So try to put prevention measures. And that's why it goes back to educating. So educating the youth, educating the university, educating the students, because if we can have these preventive measures in place, then we start leading to a different change that we want to see. And so that's what we're doing. And like, if you all are having like similar issues when it comes to gun violence, I strongly implore to have a gun violence campaign and just try to deter these efforts, because anywhere where there's gun violence, that's crime, as well as that's crime on humanity. And that's what we're trying to deter. So.
Thank you so much, Devin. Thank you for sharing that. Gun violence is something that's near and dear to my heart, as my family, not my family, but my city is going through that. So I appreciate you sharing how you guys will take action. So I know other cities are going through that and they can adopt some of your methods as well. I'm sorry, we are running a little over on time. So just to make sure that I respect you all's time, I just want to go to the next thing. You all have shared with us already what your problems are. So there will be another time, an opportunity space for us to share where our collective issues are or things that we have in common. But we're going to move to the next question. So now that you have seen last year's agenda and discussed new demands, what can the national office do better to move new agenda items for Black youth? So as you talked about your issues, right? What national tools or resources could we help you with as a national staff in a national office? What training and campaigns and tactics can we help you deal with? So like you just talked about, Devin, you just talked about a campaign, right? And what kind of sort of tactics that you can use in conjunction with the campaigns to help reach your goal and get your outcome, right? And communication. These are things that we can help you with, and we want to know how can we help you with as it relates to these things that we just talked about when we talk about your demands. How can we assist you and be a resource? So you guys can raise your hands. Again, Jonah, I see Jonah first, so you can share.
Thank you, and hello everyone. My name is Jonna Speller, representing Scotland County Youth Council and the North Carolina Youth and College Division. One of the main things that we discussed in regards to environmental issues that we've seen is we want to see more diversity within that career field. And we all know one of the main ways to do that is to increase the education and the educational resources given to our young people. So a big discussion about sustainable building actually came up branching off of that conversation. So specifically to NAACP, we know that we have a sustainable building competition within EXO. So to help increase that education, especially since there's a lot of areas and units that don't have, sustainable building or architecture classes within their high schools, it would be great if we could see some sustainable building workshops for all units to be provided throughout the year, possibly, so that those who do not have that access to resources in terms of sustainable building and architecture can gain that from the national and be able to go into a competition at EXO like sustainable building and have the potential to be successful and also possibly go into the career as well. Thank you for the floor.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing that. Well, you've come to the right person because I am in charge of any sort of trainings or what programs or workshops that we would do. So Ashley, thank you so much for sharing that. And
All right, I think we lost Dominique. Let's see, Dominique, you here with us? Okay, I think we lost her. What we're going to do is that we're going to continue to take responses. Next, I have Ashley. Ashley, I just read your email from Alaska. What you got for us?
Hey, Derek, how you doing? It's been a minute. I think the biggest thing for our national office is communication and membership. It's power in numbers. And I know membership is a very hefty thing. I believe because membership is our bread and butter. They could communicate with our branches a lot better on membership. We have lots of not youth and adults that many times don't get their membership cards and things like that. But also the agenda, I would say creating more opportunity for our Black youth, more opportunity, and pushing heavier, I would say legislation wise, I believe for some type, I know it's been a long time coming, but some type of reparations for our people, just so our youth and our people can have the same our children have the same opportunities as their white counterparts, and education. It's kind of trying to stop that, that long pipeline from education from school to prison pipeline. So our children, because our youth are suspended more, they're often given behavioral plans, or especially our Black males, things of that sort. So communicating about the juvenile justice issues in the system.
Good, appreciate that, Ashley, and I think that what you're speaking to is key is, like communication to our members. We understand the gaps that exist with communication, especially that it exists, amongst state conferences, amongst the state conferences and locally, but also the gaps that are happening between the national office and locally as well. So we hope that that you're getting emails when you stand up to date, but making sure that you're also getting informed of all of our opportunities that we have on going back and be supportive to all your work. So I appreciate you uplifting that, and I'm actually going to connect you with somebody that can help you with recruitment that we have going on in Alaska. Because we don't have much visibility down there, but we can make something shake. I got some money for you, so I'm gonna share that opportunity with you after this call.
Thank you.
No problem. Devin, we've heard from you already. If you don't mind, can I go to Lynette, and then we can come back to you? Okay, thank you.
Hello, I'm from the great New York City in the house. I put it in the chat too. So I would love to see if the national office could support the units with grant funding for programmatic activities. I know in the past they would do that. If you were doing one of the game changers, they would give you at least $500 seed money to be able to put on an event, because as you know, it's so much work to do and trying to get, do fundraisers and the work too. It's kind of hard. In addition to marketing like swag, t-shirts, hats, it's always good to see everyone in the same, and it makes it more marketable. I know in New York City, a lot of people are asking now to be a part of the youth council units, but of course it's very costly. So I think that would go a long way, in addition to all of the other things that I do see in the chat as well.
Thank you so much, Lynette, for sharing it. And that is something that we are thinking about too. We are coming up with ways to be able to help support you on the ground with the work and the efforts that you just explained. So just stay tuned. We do have some announcements and we do have some things rolling out so that we can be able to support you in that way. So I'm thankful that you uplifted that as well and gave us that feedback. So we are going to go to our next segment just because we want to keep it moving. I don't want to keep y'all here too long. Like I said, I want to respect your time. That's a part of being a good organizer. So let's go to our next segment. So now we will be talking about our next steps and announcements. We have a special guest that we would like for you all to meet, and she is from the Hollywood Bureau. Her name is Zoe Norman Hunt, and she is the program coordinator at the Hollywood Bureau, and she's going to talk about our Youth Activist of the Year award. You have the floor.
Hi, everyone. I'm Zoe. Nice to meet you all virtually. As Dominique just told you, my name is Zoe Norman Hunt, and I work as the program coordinator for the Hollywood Bureau out here, and our main thing is basically part of the Image Awards. And I'm here this evening, invited by both Wisdom and Derek and Dominique, to discuss how we are celebrating this award for the third year in a row. So the NAACP Youth Activist of the Year Award was created about 3 years ago to help us as an organization better recognize and connect with communities that we serve. And the NAACP Image Awards will nationally recognize as an individual, as a member of, who is a member of both an NAACP Youth and College unit for all the work that they do to improve their community. And I'm here to talk to you about what it takes to be considered and how to complete applications. Because right now we stand, sorry, let me get my little notes. We have 52 applications right now for Youth Activist of the Year, but we only have 7 fully submitted and completed applications. So if you, for instance, have started an application, I highly encourage you to finish your application, because the deadline is January 7th. And if the application isn't completed, they will not be considered. I'm going to put the link for the application in the chat for anyone who's interested. Highly encourage you to click it and to submit anyone who you think should be considered. So the deadline, as I said, is January 7th, and the recipient and the unit president are both informed on January 26th. Applications will be fully completed and submitted in order to be considered. I encourage everyone to go again to carefully read the criteria section in the application process, because that'll help the reviewers determine how they vote for each applicant. All the individuals can't submit themselves. They have to be submitted by their youth and college unit for consideration. They got to fit the criteria. They got to be an NAACP youth member, and they have to consent to having their image and name shared by the NAACP. The winner will be flown out to California for the Image Awards with a guest. They'll get to walk the red carpet. They'll get the full glam and makeup. They'll go to the pre-awards dinner. They'll have the invitation to attend all the events. They'll be given an award of their own. And I don't fully quote me on this, we're still in debates, but they may be called out during the actual aired award show. That's about everything on that, actually. Yeah. Anyone have any questions about the Youth Activist of the Year Award?
I see one question from Ms. Rena.
Is it Rena Neal? Do you have a question, Rena? Sorry,
I do not. That's probably from the previous, what we were doing prior to this.
My mistake. Oh, hold on. Are youth and college members allowed to buy a ticket to attend? Is there an age limit? I think, as long as you're in the youth, if you're a member of the youth section of a youth NAACP person or someone in college, I think that's the age limit. You can't be out of college. Kendi, it's about the past recipient of the award. One moment, please. The past recipient, oh, gosh, I just had their name up here a second ago. Yeah. Madison Potts was the winner last year. She was a political science major and sociology minor at Kennesaw State. She was also the president of her KSU NAACP chapter and a member of the student government association Minority Student Advisory Board, and served on the Georgia NAACP Youth and College Division for Get Out the Vote. That's who won last year. Are youth allowed to buy a ticket to attend? I'm honestly not entirely. We haven't been discussing tickets. We've been dealing with legal right now. So once they know, we'll know, and then we can tell you guys about buying tickets. Sorry, 1 second. So you say it can't be out. College with the under 25, graduate from college, still everything. High school also?
I can help with that one, Zoe.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's based off of the age limit, and of course the guidelines of becoming a member for youth in college as well. So of course somebody can graduate from college under the age of 25. I think that's the main part that we're emphasizing, that we're highlighting somebody that's under the age of 25.
Yes. So yes. Special price again for youth council members. Again, I don't have that information for you guys yet. If you want it, I can definitely send it to Derek, and Derek can send it along to all you guys. Okay, youth council division. Yes, I believe Evelina. I believe Evelina that they can. And high school, I can't see why not. As long as they're again a member of the NAACP and in good standing, and they have someone who will advocate for them, then yes. High school senior, okay. Okay, great. The link is in there, and please send it. And I'll also send the link to Wisdom and Derek. I know that you guys already have access to the link, but I'll send it to you again if you want to send it around. But yeah.
Thank you, Zoe. We appreciate you. Thank you for taking the time.
Thank you guys for having me. I appreciate this.
Okay, you let's get us out of here. Okay, so our next steps and announcements. I'm going to hand it back over to Derek.
Hey, everyone. Glad to see you all back again. So I know that you all know that there's an election that's going on right now for the youth board seat, and there are other elections that other regions are participating in. I have a vast amount of emails from a number of you all. I ain't gonna call out your region, but a number of you all who do not have their ballots, which is very valid, right? Ballots. Your questions are very valid. So what I want to do, if you can help me help you, I want to make sure that you get your ballot. I want to make sure that you have the correct delegate strip for your unit. But if you have not received your ballot and you feel like your unit is in compliance, if you can complete this unit compliance verification form for me, you just inquire saying that, hey, I don't have my unit. I don't have my ballot for the election. My secretary doesn't have it. It's not in our unit email. We do not have our ballot, and we want to vote on our regional board member or any other position that is going up. Complete this form. I will be in contact with you either on Friday or in between Friday and Tuesday to give you the update of your status or give you your ballot via email. So if you can complete the form, that will, if you have not received a ballot, again, if you have not received your ballot, please complete this form. I'm also asking that you check with your previous secretary. Yes, because it was probably sent to them, or check your unit email address. If you have not received your form, this is not for everybody. If your unit just charter reactivated for you this year, this is not for you. I'm sorry, it's ain't for you. It doesn't work like that. So for units who are in compliance, who have been in good standing, and you voted in the convention this year, essentially, we're looking for you. If you have not received your ballot, please complete the form so we can give your ballot to you. I know there's been a lot of questions, a lot of inquiries. I know that the advisors from New York, Ms. Blackwell, I have you. I have you. I have you. I trust me. I have you on my list. It's actually on my notepad. I got you. We're going to make sure that you all get your ballot. Again, so I appreciate you all and your patience throughout this process as well. But if you can complete the form, we're also going to send it to you via email after this. It's going to be included in the agenda so you can access that form, and we'll get this done hopefully in between now and next Tuesday. Thank you.
Thank you, Derek. And I'll pass it off to our national director to talk about our Youth in College 2022 calendar.
Thank you, Dominique. Thank you, Derek. Thank you, Zoe, so much for talking about the upcoming Image Awards. Just to answer also a couple of questions, normally there are seat filler programs, so definitely look out for that. Tickets usually do go on sale, so that will also be publicized and advertised for folks to be a part of. But super excited that we'll be having that live and in person again. You know, we are going back into a new year, right? And things are opening up. We are staying vigilant about COVID-19, but recognizing that for this next year, we do have to be live and in person, but also continue our virtual engagement. So we'll still be having lots of webinars, lots of educational opportunities, lots of trainings, but we are looking forward to many, many events that will be happening live and direct. We want to make sure that you are ready to be engaged with that. I think it's absolutely important for us to be active in this moment. I know many of you may know, but earlier today, we found out news that the author, activist, and artivist Bell Hooks passed away. And a quote that is really important to me that I take from her is that what we do is more important than what we say or what we say we believe. And so as we are developing our upcoming year, we want to think about what we are doing. How are we getting active? How are we getting engaged? How are we maintaining active NAACPers and engaging with our units on the ground, but also engaging in the work that is most necessary? And so upcoming this year, we definitely have a February board meeting. As Derek talked about, we want to make sure that folks are getting their charter reactivation in. That's going to be due January 28th. We also want to make sure that our annual financial reports get in March, right? What is the reason why you have to get your annual financial report? I'm glad that you asked, because we will be having
a convention. So convention is my baby, and it will be the 113th National Convention in our 2022, and Region 2, Atlantic City, New Jersey, will be hosting us for our convention. So we are so excited about that. And then we will have National Voter Registration Day. We already have the dates for that. You know that we do Civic Engagement 365, but just keeping in mind, National Voter Registration Day will be on Tuesday, September 20th. Then we will have National Voter Education Week, which we do know the dates for already, October 3rd to October 7th. So we're just giving you a heads up on these dates because this is when we have lots of engagement all across the nation. We usually have a unified front when it comes to National Voter Registration Day or National Voter Education Week. We always have something for you guys to engage with, and you guys come up with your own things as well. But these are dates that you want to put on your calendar because you know for sure that we will be out there and we will be getting the work done. Wisdom, I'm sorry. Back to you.
Dominique. And so these dates are absolutely important, right? This is going to be the first convention that we are doing back in person. We want to make sure that everybody has the opportunity to engage with all the amazing workshops, speakers, activities. We want to make sure this is a great convention because I know folks have been missing that convention energy. So definitely make sure your units in compliance, make sure you get your annual financial report in, and make sure that we see you at convention. We want to make sure we see you, we engage with you. We are super excited and stoked for that. The reason Dominique also talked about National Voter Registration Day and National Voter Education Week is because we have another national election coming on November 8th. November 8th is going to be another major day. We want to make sure that we have amazing youth turnout, right? During midterm elections, constantly people talk about young people don't turn out, young people don't show out. We want to create the upset. We want to say that even when the chips are down, even when it seems like some things that we don't want are happening, that we still turn out, we still turn up, and we still make sure we are working the polls and making sure that every voter is registered and is able to have access to the ballot. And so I want to make sure that you are engaging in these activities for National Voter Registration Day, National Voter Education Week. I love all the amazing comments about resources, about tools, about everything that's needed to make sure that our youth and college unions are engaged. And we are working tirelessly to make sure that you have those things. I know a lot of things are coming up and are in store for that, so definitely stay tuned. But we are happy that you have been a part of crafting what our next year looks like. It's absolutely necessary that young people are involved in the voices of what this organization looks like and is a part of all the decision-making processes. So thank you to everybody who's on. I know we have about 80 people here still left. We started with about 120, which is amazing. We want to make sure that we are able to share the information with you. So we'll definitely be sharing some of the results of what we talked about tonight. We'll be definitely sharing this PowerPoint presentation. It's also recorded, so if somebody wasn't here, definitely feel free to share it with them. And we want to make sure that our president, Joe Biden, knows exactly what we want. And so I'm actually going to be looking for 5 youth and college volunteers to stay behind real quick. We're going to be putting together a small video letting Joe Biden know exactly what we want to see in 2022. And so if you would love to be a part of that video, I got Devin, I got Tylee. I need one more person, hopefully a young lady. Who else would like to be part of this? Kennedy, thank you, Kennedy. So I got Kennedy, I got Ashley, I got Devin, and I have, I'm gonna add you there too, Joanna Speller. So we're gonna shoot this video real quickly afterwards, letting Joe Biden exactly know what we need. But I wanna thank everybody so much for being a part of tonight's end of the year Youth and College Roundtable. Your voices are important. Your voices are necessary for our movement. And I'm glad that you all came out tonight. Thank you to our advisors who have been supporting our young people all year long. We are looking forward to an amazing 2022. And what really matters the most is making sure that we are being what we say, right? Making sure that we are acting, that we are doing, and that we're continuing to embody everything that is the NAACP. And so thank you so much for joining tonight. And I will let you all go.
Wisdom.
Thanks for the invitation, Wisdom.
Thank you. I heard a question for me.
Yes, Wisdom. I just wanted to thank you all. This has been an excellent interview. I want to thank Wisdom, Derek, Dominique. You all put together a dynamic roundtable discussion, and thank you for your leadership from the heart.
Thank you. And if I don't get to see you before the new year, happy holidays, happy New Year's.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Happy holidays.
Thank you.
Merry Christmas.
Holidays.
Hey.
Merry Christmas. Happy holidays.
Happy holidays, everyone.
Holidays, and thank you.
Happy holidays.
All right, you guys, I have a blessing, all right?
Thank you.
Happy Kwanzaa.
Period.
Now that I'm thinking it through, I just ain't fell in love because I'm way too awake. And she tried to spin a rapper to break on my
Thank you, Ms. Blandon.